Okay, I'm back on the Azealia Banks Twittergram. Okay, so today I made a statement on the Azealia Banks Twitter account about why feminism isn't for Black women, and a lot of people got upset. A lot of people were very confused with what I was saying. So I just wanted to make this video to clarify what I mean by that. I'm not saying that I'm a know-it-all on African history or anything like that, but just from the bit of research that I've done, you know, reading the African diaspora and just reading books on African spirituality and all stuff like that, there has been a real emphasis on just Africa's greatest days being when the queens were in power, you know, when everything was run by the matriarch and everything was good and grand. So with that said, I feel like, you know, that sort of social setup has more to do with the animal herself, the Black woman, you know, because humans are animals. The animal, the Black woman herself, just her, you know, makeup, her like just, I don't know, maybe it's hormonal, I don't know. I think that has the most to do with just the animal herself. And with that said, I find a lot of weakness in a lot of, you know, just mainstream feminist rhetoric, in terms of it always relating to men. You know, granted, we do live in a patriarchal society where you know, men are at power, but at the same time, you know, we also live in a white supremacist society where, you know, or just a white dominant society where white people get to kind of make the rules and, you know, turn the tides and all sorts of things like that. With that said, and I hope no one gets offended by this, but I truly believe that within white cultures and white societies, like they just have a different dynamic. Like in our societies, you know, when you take it back to Africa, like obviously I'm just reading books and just reading websites and reading articles and stuff like that. When you take it back to just like, I guess, the 1300s or the 1400s or maybe even like, you know, 1200 in Africa, where you have these great societies that have just been built on matriarchal power and all sorts of stuff like that, and they run really efficiently and really well. I think that's just a testament to the way the energy, the way gender relations work between Black people. I'm not a white person. I wasn't a white person during the 1200s or the 1100s or anything like that during the Middle Ages. But it seems to me that, you know, within white societies, that white men dictate who white women are, you know. And within our societies, our Black societies, be they African or Ghanaian or whatever, you know, especially Ghanaian society, like when you go to any Ghanaian's house, you can't even pick up a broom to do anything. They'll grab it from you and be like, no, what are you doing? Like, that's for me to do, you know? There's just a sense of, not servitude, but just like, and I don't want to say respect, but, you know, that is a really big element of African culture, just to like tend to the women and make sure that they are okay. And I truly, honestly believe that, you know, white men dictate who white women are, just on a very like social level, all across the world, all throughout the white kingdom, whatever that means. And I think that when it comes to America and Black women trying to see where they fit within, you know, the bounds of feminism, it doesn't resonate with me on a spiritual level, you know, because I just feel like maybe I'm not that concerned with men. I feel like the feminist conversation always comes back to men. You know, it's always male oppression, male this, male that, blah, blah, blah. And it just is like, to me, just like being given, like, you know, it's just like men are just given so much power over a woman. So you have like, you know, like recently you've seen a bunch of Hollywood celebrities. They're like, oh, well, you know, I don't make as much money as the man, but bitch, I don't make as much money as you. You know, I don't, you know, like Black women don't make as much money as, Black and Hispanic women don't make as much money as white women do. hold on, I have to turn these chats off because you guys are crazy. You know, so I feel like my problem with like feminist rhetoric is just that there's such an emphasis put on the man, and it's almost as if, you know, they're in competition with the man to be equal. But what happens, I mean, yeah, what happens to family structure? What happens to all sorts of things like that? And it's not to say that the woman should stay home and be barefoot and just have a bunch of kids and all sorts of stuff like that. But there has to be certain things that are just reserved for certain times and places. And I think that with feminism and Black women, I think that we get duped into falling for, you know, the feminism is about gender equality script, rhetoric, or whatever, when Black women aren't even equal to white women, you know? And I think that there's something that should really be said about that, about the feminists who claim to stand up for all women, and, you know, they're trying to get their dollars close. You know, if they make 77 cents for every white man's dollar, and the Black and the Hispanic girl makes 65 cents or 56 cents, whatever it is, whatever the number is, for every white man's dollar, I think that the attention in the feminist community should just be spent on making sure all women are equal to each other, you know, in all aspects of life, be you dark skin, light skin, white, Asian, whatever. I think that is a more fair definition of feminism, which is, you know, pretty much termed womanism. Like, I would like the feminist conversation to be, or the womanist conversation to be like, how do you feel? How do you feel? What makes you happy? You know, how do you feel in relation to other women? How do they make you feel? And I think we miss a lot of that in, you know, especially with this new, I guess, national Black female conversation that we're having, you know, about our bodies and our sexuality and, you know, our feelings and stuff like that. And I would just like the conversation to just be more female centric and just, you know, not about men's money or how men make you feel or, you know, male oppression or things like that. I don't know, maybe it's part of my animal makeup that I just don't even see that as a problem or as a thing to be fought. I don't know. And again, you know, I'm not trying to make any like grandiose claims about feminism or womanism or Blackness or whiteness. These are just my theories and just what I think. So yeah, those were just my little 2 cents in case anybody was offended by me saying that, you know, feminism doesn't, like, Black women and feminism shouldn't mix. And, you know, there's a lot of historical evidence about Black women getting together to help white feminists fight for their causes and then being left in the dust, you know, when Black women helped white girls in the suffragist movement and, you know, help them learn, help them gain the right to vote, promising that they were going to help us get the right to vote, they turned around and shitted on us, you know, and just left us in the dust and left us in the cold. And that's not to say, I'm not trying to, you know, create any sort of division between white feminists, Black feminists, Black womanists, white womanists, whatever. It's just, I think that those white feminist ideals that are being promoted nowadays are just not conducive to the Black and Hispanic woman's progression. You know, I think that the mainstream feminist group, they need to focus on all the women and making sure all the women are good. You know, you have these movements like Free Bleeder and stuff like that. It's just like, you know, how about we just like get our money together and like send them some tampons, send them some maxi pads. You don't have to do all these like rebellious forms of feminism that just are meaningless and they're kind of gross, you know? bleeding down your pants and showing that on Instagram or whatever, free the nipple or whatever, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, those to me are just like middle class white female rebellions, like free the nipple, you know, like why do you want to free your nipple? Why do you want to walk around naked? Men are disgusting. You have an open hole on your body, you know? That's why those things are in place, not so that you can, not because we're trying to oppress your nipple, but because men are disgusting and you have an open hole on your body. That is why, you know? Again, I like to free my nipple all the time, you know, but I don't think that it's something that needs to be a national movement or like a national thing when we as women in America have lots of other things to be worried about. Like, for instance, like the foster care system and, you know, just, yeah, the foster care system and adoption and all such things like that, like hungry children. Those are things to me that, you know, just resonate in my heart and make me feel like I want to do something about that, rather than, you know, going to bat with this man being like, oh, well, I don't make enough money as you and all this other shit, blah, blah, you know. That's also a thing. That's also a thing. I'm not negating that, and I'm not saying that that's something that shouldn't be spoken about or something that shouldn't be an issue. But I think that if the feminist league, you know, like the just, you know, the white Hollywood girls that are complaining about how they don't get paid as much as white men are, if that's a thing amongst them, then I can't get behind that, because black women and Hispanic women don't make as much as you do. But I think that if the feminist community is going to come together and, you know, work towards a goal together, I definitely think that it should be for the children. And, you know, the United States foster care system is fucked. You have a lot of weirdos that just get in there just so they could get that check, and they get, you know, these kids and they drag them up. They don't even raise them, you know, they just drag them up and treat them like shit and treat them bad, and just like, you know, even juvenile detention centers and all sorts of things like that, you know. I think there are things that are more important than freeing the nipple and yeah, all that other shit. I don't know. And it could also be because as a black woman, you know, I don't have the luxury of complaining about my nipple or my period or whatever, you know. I'm so busy trying to fight discrimination and just like, you know, just kind of make myself, you know, just kind of make myself, just like make a way for myself in this white society, white world or whatever. So yeah, those are my little thoughts on feminism and black women, you know. I don't feel that way. I don't feel as oppressed by men as I guess the white female rhetoric will describe, you know. I don't know. Again, I don't know. These are just my little thoughts. I just wanted to explain where I was coming from. And yeah, that's it. I think, you know, with black feminism and even amongst ourselves, even amongst black women, lighter skinned black women in this white world benefit greatly from colorism. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I don't see very much, you know, effort on and I don't see a lot being done to try and change that, or just try and even the scales, or I don't see a lot of, you know, the world's biggest black artists, because they're all light skinned. I don't see them trying to share their platform with anyone who isn't light skinned, or, you know, trying to give them a spotlight, which is what I think, you know, if you're really going to lead this black female conversation, if you're not just capitalizing on it, if you're going to lead this black female conversation, then you need to share your platform, you know, with other dark-skinned female artists. It can't just be, you know, X, Y, and Z, lighter skin, biracial, mixed girl in your video, and, you know, that just be the be-all, end-all on your fight for black women, you know, because you all benefit very greatly from colorism. And what happens is, you know, the darker girl or the dark fat girl or whatever, the girl who is, you know, deemed not commercially viable gets to sit up in the studio and pour her heart out and like slave away at writing songs for you, and you get to be Mary and take all the glory and all sorts of stuff like that. You know, sometimes these girls don't even get paid. So yeah, I think it's important to just take into consideration how that could be hurting other black women. Colorism. Those are just my thoughts. These are just my thoughts. I'm done speaking for the night. I just wanted to let you guys know where I was coming from, so that you didn't think it was just another complaint or another, you know, criticism or whatever. That's it, you guys. Thank you. I'll see you soon.